Hi everybody, I'm Kayla and I'm going to be talking about Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna's philosophical contributions are central to Mahayana Buddhism, and his deep insights into the nature of reality have had a lasting impact on the Buddhist world, especially in the area of mysticism. Buddhist mysticism is a path that transcends ordinary human experience. It's not just about abstract philosophy, but about direct spiritual realization. This path seeks enlightenment and liberation through an understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, aiming to transcend the dualities and illusions that often define our world. Nirvana or enlightenment is the ultimate goal, where a person reaches a state of perfect wisdom, peace, and freedom of suffering. Then, about his life, there's not much on it, but Nagarjuna is believed to have been born around the 2nd century CE in India. The exact details of his birth and early life are shrouded in mystery. He is regarded as one of the central figures in Mahayana Buddhism, particularly for his role in developing the Madhyamaka school of thought. His work helped lay the philosophical foundation for a deeper understanding of Buddhist teachings, especially the concepts of emptiness, which is shunyata, and dependent origination. Though we don't know much about his early years, we can infer that Nagarjuna was deeply influenced by the intellectual and spiritual currents of his time. India during this period was a hotbed of philosophical debate. Several schools of thought were wrestling with questions about the nature of essence, reality, and the self. Nagarjuna's early exposure to these ideas would have shaped the philosophical outlook, which was both critical of and deeply rooted in Buddhist teachings. Nagarjuna's path into mysticism was not one of sudden enlightenment or dramatic encounters, but rather one of deep contemplation, intellectual rigor, and meditation. He was dedicated to understanding the truth about suffering and liberation, the central themes of Buddha's teachings. Much like the Buddha's quest for understanding the nature of suffering and how to transcend it, Nagarjuna sought to understand the underlying truths of existence. One of Nagarjuna's central teachings was on emptiness, the idea that all phenomena are devoid of inherent existence. According to him, everything is interdependent. This realization of interdependence was not just an intellectual insight, but a deeply spiritual experience that brought Nagarjuna closer to understanding the nature of suffering and liberation. He sought that suffering arose not from the things themselves, but from our attachment to them, our mistaken belief that things exist independently and permanently. This realization broke the walls of dualistic thinking, where we view things as separate, and allowed Nagarjuna to experience a more profound sense of unity with all things. Nagarjuna's contributions to Buddhist mysticism is perhaps most strongly felt in his teachings of emptiness. This idea challenges the way we usually perceive the world. We tend to think of things as existing on their own, each object, each person, each event as having an inherent fixed identity. Nagarjuna radically overturned this view by proposing that all things are empty of inherent existence. Nothing exists independently. Everything is contingent upon other things, interconnected and interdependent. This is known as shunyata, or emptiness. This teaching had far-reaching consequences for Buddhist practice. It encouraged a shift from seeing the world through dualistic categories such as the self versus other, or material versus spiritual, to understanding everything as interconnected and empty of fixed essence. Nagarjuna's mystical insight into the nature of existence, what we call emptiness, became a foundational idea with Mahayana Buddhism. It redefined the way Buddhists approach meditation, wisdom, and ultimately liberation. Although we don't have many details about Nagarjuna's later life, his influence has been enormous. His most famous works, such as I can't even say it, but it means the fundamental verses of the Middle Way, continue to be studied and revered in Buddhist communities worldwide. His philosophy has shaped not only Buddhist intellectual thought, but also the practice of meditation. Nagarjuna's teachings laid the groundwork for later Buddhist philosophers, and his ideas have become a central part of Mahayana Buddhist practice. Even today, his works continue to be a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophical thought, especially the Tibetan Buddhism and Zen Buddhism. His legacy is not just the philosophical texts he wrote, but the way his ideas have influenced Buddhist practitioners to see the world in a radically different way, one that is interconnected and devoid of the fixed notions that we usually impose on it. Okay. So Nagarjuna's fit with mysticism. Let's see. Compared to Evelyn Underhill and William James. Evelyn Underhill defines mystical experiences as those that go beyond ordinary perception and transcend the limitations of sensory experience. According to Underhill, mysticism is about encountering a reality that is unified and profound, something that cannot be fully expressed in words. Nagarjuna's teachings on emptiness directly align with this idea. His philosophical insights into the nature of reality encourage us not to go beyond ordinary perception and experience the world as it truly is, not as separate, fragmented things, but as interconnected, interdependent phenomena. Similarly, William James outlined 4 key characteristics of how mystical experiences: ineffability, noetic quality, transience, and passivity. So ineffability, Nagarjuna's realization of emptiness was beyond the reach of ordinary language. The nature of interdependence cannot be captured in a simple concept or word, making his insight ineffable experience. Noetic quality, the realization of emptiness was not just an abstract idea, it provided profound, transformative wisdom about the nature of reality. Nagarjuna's teachings were a way of reaching deep knowledge that could lead to liberation. And then transience, while we cannot say how long Nagarjuna's mystical experience lasted, the insight into emptiness was something that deepened over time. It wasn't like a fleeting vision, but a continuously unfolding realization that changed how he interacted with the world. And then passivity. Nagarjuna's mystical understanding of emptiness didn't come from active will or personal striving. It came from deep meditation and contemplation, as if he was uncovering truths that were always there waiting to be discovered. And then dualities. Nagarjuna's approach to mystical experience also involved transcending dualities, his separation between things like being and non-being, self and other, material and spiritual. And his concept of emptiness shows us that these distinctions are illusions created by our limited perception. The dualities that we see are merely projections of our mind, and when we let go of these projections, we can experience the world as it truly is. And then the Bodhisattva ideal versus the Arhat ideal. Nagarjuna's philosophy also has a strong emphasis on the Bodhisattva ideal, which contrasts with the Arhat ideal found in the Theravada Buddhism. The Bodhisattva, I can't say that, is someone who forgoes personal enlightenment in order to help all sentient beings reach liberations. Nagarjuna's own teachings reflect this idea as he dedicated himself to spread the wisdom of emptiness for the benefits of others, while the rat seeks personal liberation. Oh my goodness, I can't speak anymore. And then unique contributions. Nagarjuna's most unique contribution of Buddhist mysticism was his radical rethinking of emptiness. His teachings on interdependence and the lack of inherent existence in all things reshaped the way Buddhists understand reality. His view of the world is as fluid, interconnected, and constantly changing challenges our usual perceptions of stability and permanence. In a world where we often cling to rigid ideas of self and identity, Nagarjuna's teachings often offer a liberating path of letting go to those attachments and seeing the world in a much more flexible and interconnected way. While Nagarjuna didn't lay out specific meditation practices like other mystics, his ideas have had a profound influence on Buddhist meditation techniques. His teachings on emptiness encourage practitioners to meditate on the interconnectedness of all things. And then, why is he still relevant today? In today's world, where division and duality often dominate our political, social, and personal lives, his teachings offer a profound remedy. His philosophy challenges our attachment to rigid concepts and fixed identities. And then to wrap up, Nagarjuna was not just a philosopher, he was a mystic whose teachings continue to shape Buddhist practice and thought. His radical views on emptiness dissolved the dualities that define ordinary experience and opened up to a new way of seeing reality, one that is interconnected, impermanent, and free of inherent existence. His legacy is not just in his writings, but how his teachings continue to guide Buddhist practitioners to experience the world in a deeper, more profound way. His work is as relevant today as it was over 1,000 years ago. And that's it. Thank you.